Hello, it's me, DjDoubleT, here with our Tuesday thing of, self-care Tuesdays. I don't really have a name for today. Today is just existing, reading, and doing what I need to do. And that's all we can do. Oh, wow, Puma, that was quick. Hi, hello. I think for today, for me, at least what I want to do in this stream is to chat with people, first thing at first, right? But also to tackle my books. Today we're gonna continue the subtle art of not giving an F, and also just do some therapy journaling. And if I have time, I'll probably work on lo-fi lyrics. I'm not gonna say song lyrics because it's more I don't know, because I think of songs as singing, but I guess there is spoken word songs as well. Like, you could still have music, but you could have spoken word. And I don't know, after today, I'm in a funky mood. Our little lo-fi list today is Alone with Love. It's from Stomp's playlist, and it's lovely, no copyright, chill hop. But also, the topic is kind of how I feel right now as well. Oh, but yeah, let's go tackle what I need to tackle first. How would you be a helpful friend, Puma, if we're looking into cars for people? Or is it just for yourself or for somebody you know? Also, sorry about not responding yesterday. I think I passed out when you responded about saying that your hiking was canceled because of, I think, weather, right? And landslide warnings? But also, what kind of car does your friend want? That's kind of the average person, if I'm being honest. Oh, if I've already started doing this. Okay. Well, what kind of car are they interested in? Also, I can't wait to be done with this section because I forget how the white screen makes me so bright as a person. Bright colors. Okay, we don't need this. I think I've already done it because this one was... Okay. Isn't that kind of hard to find? You would have to find a car that's used? But do they want a new car, or do they want a car that's just reliable? Okay, so a 4-year car, so something that... I hope you know when you say red blocks, all I think about are brick blocks from Minecraft and redstone. Don't ask me why. Huh. Hmm. Okay. Sounds reasonable. Alright, that's done. Journal. Yes, that. Hmm. But also, like, finding a car if you're gonna buy it used is also really difficult. I don't know why, but like, growing up, I think one of my parents had gotten like a salvage car, and like, there were like a lot of salvage cars with just like, I don't know, parts that were replaced but weren't reliable. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's hard to find a used car that is good. Huh. So, random question, but what kind of car, or what brand car is the Nokia of cars? Okay. What is the date today? Today's the 8th? Yes. I know that people like trash on BMWs a lot, and I think I would too, but I was thinking about, well, I was walking to work today, and I just saw like a BMW that was blue, and I thought it looked cute, but then, you know, the BMW, they get a bad reputation, at least driver-wise. Like, cause apparently, like certain brands of cars, if you drive it, you're not a nice person, apparently. Huh. Tanky car structure. Hmm. I forgot which car brand that was like made fun of, but like there was a car brand where somebody I knew had an acronym for it, and basically it said, what was that? Was it a Pontiac? Or, but there was just one car that was just like there was an acronym for it that was just making fun of it, like be ready to like basically invest tons of money into a broken car. I know if I ever get my license and get a car, if I ever have to do maintenance, I might cry. Well, I wouldn't cry. I'd probably just be like groaning about it. Because, sure, you can go to a mechanic and repair it, but if I can try to save money, I will do it. Or, build your own car. You can always do that, right? Then at least the only person you can blame is you. And maybe a manufacturer for giving you horrible parts. But what if I don't want to learn stick? Oh. Okay. We all know if I ever get a Subaru, it's gonna be a Subaru. We're gonna weave it up, and it's gonna be a woo. But I also don't see myself with a Subaru. Actually, maybe I should look at Subaru photos, and then think about whether or not, I typed up Subara. That's not right. My typos. Let's look at them really quickly. I don't know how I feel about them. They're not as cute as I meant. You know what? I'm just gonna type up cute Subaru and see what Google decides to give me. It really gave me a pink Subaru. Interesting. Aw, the 1966 Subaru 360 is kind of cute. I expected cuter. I don't know why. It's like, I kind of thought it'd be more rounded, because I think more rounded cars are like cuter. But like when I looked at the Subaru photos, it looked more geometric. Like it's not sharp or anything like a box car, but it just gave me like hexagon and vibes for some reason. If that makes sense. Like I don't need a cute car or anything like that. Like we've already talked about how I think my dream car would just be like a Volkswagen bus. Well, I'm still down for, well, not the old one anymore, just because money, gas, fuel efficiency, and like, well, just environmental stuff. So might as well just go for the electric one, or possible hybrid. But if not, I think I'll just get like a small hybrid and live with that happily for until, I'm successful enough. And when I say successful enough, I just mean enough to have a simple life. Because I don't need to be so rich that I don't know what to do with it. Because there's always that crazy bit of like life, happiness, and balance, money and happiness. Like, because like I've seen so many books talk about how more money, more problems, but also too little money is troublesome as well. And yet some people who don't have money are the happiest as well. But it's so interesting. And it's just really about being like comfortable where you are. And I can't say that currently I'm comfortable where I am, just because I'm seeing myself thinking about like life more as going to work because I need to survive, and kind of my mentality is like survival, and that's not healthy in the long run. So I'm hoping that it gets better than what it is currently. And it doesn't help that my job is a job that allows me to see how irritating people can be. A lot. It's fascinating, but also frustrating when you're dealing with it. And it's funny how, like, in order for me to learn about these things, I'm very much like, it's true you can give me advice kind of person. Like, I can try to listen to most of it, but at the same time, I'm very much like, I want to experience this by myself. Like, I don't like the easy path. It's weird, I guess. But how would I explain that to myself if I don't know what it's like? You know? Like for my first job, like I worked like a minimum wage job. Still kind of do. Well, I still do. But I very much put my all into it. And then over time, you start to realize, unfortunately, it's a minimum wage job. Do what you can do, but there's no expectation for you to go above and beyond, because to advance even higher is difficult. That's to say the least. And I've learned, like, I don't trust jobs that have to deal with like bringing in family. Like, I see that as a personal like red flag. And like, inclusivity is cool, but being family is a little bit more complicated, because it's like mixing work and personal life in a sense, and those two should not mix, at least to a degree. I don't know how I got to this topic, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'm like in my little advice bit of red flags about work, and you realize that they will overwork you in minimum wage jobs, you know? That too, Kabu. Hello, Kabu. Oh yeah. The thing I found out about my current job is that the person who manages the store, they get more money based on how little people are working. Like, the less hours they give to the people who need the hours, they make more money. Which is unfortunate. And it seems like people below, like management, they're always getting into trouble for giving hours. And then that cuts it down even more. Like, this week, everything's a spicy mess. Like, how do I describe it? Things are all over the place. There are new things happening each and every day. There are angry people. There's theft. Like, it's a show. And I'm finding that I don't like that anymore. Like, sure, having a busy day is nice to get you through the day. But if that's like every day, I feel like I'm pushing my own limits. Right? It's highly unethical. And it's just like amazing how like we try our best to manage these workloads, but there are so many like things that don't add up in the store itself. And so everything is all over the place. Like, okay, so we have one section where it's like, you know, they handle guest service, returns, all that. And then there is, what's the word? Then there are pickup orders. They used to be in the same section, but now the pickup orders have been moved all the way to like across the store. And so if we have pickups that require us to get stuff from there, we have to like leave the area, walk all the way over there, and if anybody else comes up and no one's there, then we have to come back to it and then go back and forth. Like, it's increased times for when people need to get their orders. When it comes to like really expensive Apple products, although there's like an area for it to be closed off and like locked behind, recently there have been people, like random folks, going in the back. Oh yeah, like they're always so people do this thing called like fulfillment, which they grab all the stuff and goods, right? And then they like put it on these shelves marked off, and that's where that person's pickup is. There is some for like some quick ones, but there's not enough space, and they added like a new section that is across the store. And it's like a distant walk, and especially because you have to have some people there to do like pickups, like whether it's like the drive ups or people who come in the store to grab their stuff. And then what was I saying? But yeah, so apparently recently people have been going in the back, because apparently that's what people do, and climbing up over the gate, because the gate doesn't cover the whole thing. It covers like almost the ceiling, and then squeezing through and then grabbing stuff and then going back out. And we've moved them into a safer area, but it requires people in this other department like me to go into this other area, which keeps us away from interacting with people. And then if they need people, they'll walkie us, and we have to call somebody who's a leader that isn't us, and that increases our time. So there's lots of very much inefficient things that are causing us pain and suffering. And it also like interferes with a lot of things we need to do. And very much like recently, I was called in, well, I was doing my tasks for like my department, and then we had a bunch of call-outs apparently in a different department, and they were like, DJ, we're gonna have you do this for this department and this department, and also for your department tonight. Which added to my workload because I had some like stuff to do for my section. But the next day after doing that, I was spoken to mainly just as advice. Like, it felt so weird because they were like, all right, you gotta stand your ground, and you gotta say this. You gotta do your stuff for your department, and then you'll get to that. And it's I find that difficult to say, you know, because you don't want to be in a bad light with like management, right? By saying no. But it's like you gotta work on wording it, I guess. But other than that, there just have been like low levels of signs of things where I'm like, yeah, I want something else. And that's what I'm trying to do. Maybe something smaller and something not as big and consistent. Like, my checklist for any future job would be consistency, feeling at least a little bit more valued, and that's it. I mean, that's really it, if I'm being honest. Oh, and I guess money, but really, as long as like I get my personal like mental needs, I should be fine. Because like work is draining, but it shouldn't be this draining. Yeah, one thing at a time. There's so many things I still have to achieve this year. Well, I want to achieve this year before the year ends. One thing at a time as things get closer. And it's weird because, like, I think the fact that there's something that isn't perfect in my life is being like motivation to do something. Because, like the book said, life without stress. Well, little bits of stress is good. Too much of it is bad. But we have to have like some kind of push factor. And if given, oh, by September, what kind of town are we talking? Like small town? I like how mentally I was like small town girl living in a lonely world after I started saying small town. Are we talking like a big town? We're talking about the suburbs. We're talking about the forest, a cabin in the woods, a dirt mound. Okay. Any like special climate topic? Also, what about you, Puma? I feel like I left you in the car dust. Like, what would be an ideal city for yourself? Or where would you want to live? Yeah, where would you want to live? Like, in the future? Alright, so staying home. Got it. Rent free. Okay. I'm not sure where I would want to live. Like, I used to think it would be here. But I also, like, keep thinking that, you know, I want to buy a plot of land, and then I want to build houses, or at least design the houses, then have somebody else build it, because I'm trying to imagine myself being a builder, and then I realized my eyes would just be giving me so much trouble. It's like hard work and effort. I'll just do a little bit of it. Fun fact, I think when I was still not like in love with math, but I enjoyed math to a degree, and then I liked building things for the fact of it. My family would joke, and some other people were like, "You should become an architect." And then I just ruled it out because I was like, I don't see myself doing it. It might be fun, but I dropped art in a sense a while ago. Who knows? Every day is different, and maybe in a year you might see me with a hard hat. I'll be building things if I can. Well, I have to get like certifications for it first of all, and then maybe a ruler and a pencil measuring. Or I might be committing to the building of like video games. Who knows? What? Well, that was like the closest pizza place nearby. I don't know why they're in the frame today, but they're not supposed to be. Ugh. Camera, let's just move you over a little bit so no one needs to see like what's in my trash. Please. It's fine. It's gonna be there. But I think growing up, I think I had a lot of Little Caesars because of like it was cheap for $5, you know, and that was nice. And then I got to try a little bit more of a Pizza Hut and like Domino's. Domino's got a lot better, I think. And then Papa John's, I would have that in the cafeteria. I don't know how I feel about their like dough, because it always tasted really sweet. Like there was sugar in that stuff. But like when you say smallish house, Boom, are we talking about like like a studio? We're talking about 1,000 square foot. Are we talking about a two-story house? Hmm, gotcha. I think I would like a bunch of various houses. Like I keep seeing like these really cool houses. Like, oh yeah, somebody like had two of those like metal like cargo crates, and then they cut into it, and then they create like this really cool like two-story house out of it. Or or like a tree house. Tree houses look really cool. Would my fear of heights activate every now and then? Oh yeah. I remember there's like this game theory video talking about like how Subway bread is not considered bread, it's considered cake in like Europe or certain areas because like it has enough sugar content to be considered cake. Sure, why not? You can always post a link in the chat. I think I don't have you restricted. I think. Oh wait, you have VIP badge, you're fine. You can do whatever you want. No. I I will refrain from saying that again. You can do whatever you want that isn't problematic. Yeah, I feel like it's good to clarify now than regret it later. Yeah. Why not type in small houses? Well, actually, no. If you type, maybe you should type in like humble houses. I was gonna say type in small houses, but they're gonna give you like the wee houses for like wee houses. You gotta show off like the fancy property, then you can raise uh the price of things. No, you gotta type it as small houses, you know? SMOL, small. Huh. That's kind of cute. I don't know why, but I suddenly imagined myself falling down those stairs. Don't ask why. I just... and maybe the roof. Hey, I'm just clumsy, okay? Like, I can imagine myself just going like la di da di da and then going wee. Although I tend to fall upstairs more than going downstairs. Like I trip on like a step or something. Flashbacks to college days. Even though college days were literally like two or 3 years ago. Wow, I'm getting old. Wow. I wouldn't say kill me. I think they would just knock me out, and then put me more in debt because of hospital fees. You know? But I could always use that excuse to get out of work. Oh no! I twisted my ankle walking down the stairs. Uh, like I was carrying a watermelon, and then like I stubbed my toe on the stair step. Yes, the stair step, and then the watermelon fell, and like then I slid on the rind, and then it went to wee. This is my story of how I got isekai'd. Not by Truck-kun, but by Stair-kun. You know, that might be a subject in the future, you know? Because, I mean, I'm literally watching an isekai right now, where the guy dies because he's on his, like, motorcycle, and then he sees, like, this vending machine on the back of a truck. He's like, oh no, the cable, it's coming undone on the vending machine. I need to, like, lock it back in. Goes really close. And then there's a turn, and so what happens is the vending machine flies off, but he also hits the rail and flies off and like lands his face into the vending machine, and then it falls off the cliff and he falls off and passes. But basically he ends up merging with the vending machine in the other world, and it becomes a vending machine in this world and just vends people food and drinks. But honestly, I feel like that topic right there might actually be an isekai. There are a bunch of animes that we don't see animated. You know, it could be a manga. If not, you're giving people ideas for the future. I mean, I feel like if you message somebody in the Loftia server, somebody would create that as a storyline. You know, we have a bunch of creative people, especially because everything's getting bigger down there and, well, not down there, but down yonder. Yeah, that sounds kind of interesting. Just like two sad people being sad, but then trying to get it together because they're both sad because they understand being sad and trying to help getting out of it, rather than like having a dark anime, because there are tons of that already as it is. flashbacks to Legend of sorry, The Rising of Shield Hero, which is an awesome anime, but it's pretty dark. Hmm. I'll say neutral today. I wish these like therapy journals had more emotions to like emote, because like there's only so many, but they don't. Most of them are just like sad ones, or like angry, sad, depressed, anxious, neutral, calm, relaxed. And I feel like there should be more, or like there should be the other option to at least like just be like, this is what I'm feeling, you know? That would make this more efficient. Sure, there is surprised, well, flabbergasted within that field, but yeah, like more specific words, you know, or words that you want to use. Woo. But you have to understand, does my therapist, or does any words, does the therapist know what ape shit means, you know? Are they hip with the times, or are they dated? And even that slang is actually, are they with the times or not? That's the way I should have used. I shouldn't use hip, because I threw mine out years ago. Every day's learning opportunity, depending on if you want to learn. Alright, but I did finish my I almost said Jared P. Thornell. I mean, there's tons of funny phrases, you know? Why can't I? But I can't think of any off the top of my head for some reason. Okay, reading it doesn't sound funny, but maybe if I heard someone saying it, then it'd be funny. I don't know, because like the way I read things is I read it in that person's voice. Like if I know what they sound like, that's how I can read it. And then over time, I can fill in phrases with what you would say, or at least if I hung out with you enough. What am I looking for? What am I doing? That's what I'm looking at. Okay. Anything in my spam? No. Alright, now I can finally get into the book that I've been saying that I was going to get into, but I didn't realize how distracted I would be talking to you guys while trying to like gather my thoughts for the therapy journal. Because like with a therapy journal, it's like your own personal space to like dump your thoughts of what has happened with the day, you know, right? And then I totally like couldn't gather it because I was like multitasking. So the progress bar on the bottom right is like my monthly follower goal, basically, or like gaining new ones. And so it's, I might have typed that wrong. Oh, I did type it wrong. It was supposed to say new meeps and peeps, but it looks like I wrote new meeps amp peeps and okay, I don't know what I wrote. What is that writing? We're gonna open source properties, and now we're gonna edit this. Visual settings, no. I'm trying, okay. I'll probably have to fix it later because I can't fix it now. Oops. Hey, I'm not perfect when it comes to typing. It's what happens. But chapter 7, failure is the way forward. Failure is definitely an interesting concept because it's something that's instilled with us, like, or at least for me when I was very young, of like, failure is not an option. And then once I was free, when I was like free from like how I grew up, and like I remember like in college I legitimately like flunked a class, or I got a D, but that wasn't passing, and or maybe no, I did flunk a class because it was either pass or no pass. So it's like you fail or you succeed, nothing else. And like it was a learning experience for me because it's like you don't know it now, but you're gonna get better at it. But the thing is, you need to try again. Because, you know, you only fail fully if you fully give up. And it's not like it's not as dramatic as it seems. It's not as problematic. But I will say, when it comes to college, if you're paying for it, you better try to succeed. Because going to school is money. At least here in the States. And then I was on academic probation. And that stressed me out a little bit. But I got it together. Cover my ass, what class was it? Like that you flunked? And then, yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, learning would be so much better if you were just allowed to, like, how do I say it? Like, just to experience. Like, I'm not saying that grades shouldn't matter, per se. But, like, learning should be like a situation where it allows you to kind of not experience it in like a stressful manner, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how to describe it in words. Oh. Ew. Uh, I remember trying to avoid that extra year of college. Was not fun. Cause I think I like crit on average. I think it took like 23 units. I know people taking like 30 units and more. Well, I am glad that you just stuck through it. It's very interesting because it's like, do you commit or do you back out with debt? Like, do you commit to full debt and have something show for it, or do you count your losses, do something else, become a millionaire? Yeah, it's really just all about like going forward, you know? I was very fortunate to not have college debt, but I'm also like taking a subject that really the only thing you can really get into, unless you're lucky or very proficient in like your talents, you'll become a teacher. Which, it's funny, I wouldn't mind being a teacher, but I also think like certain days I would so be done with certain people. Like, my patience is not there. Like, I want to be there for like all my students, but I understand, like, I've seen like how stressed out teachers are with like students. So I don't know how I feel about being a teacher. Also because I used to be like a tutor as well. I still remember like experiencing how we moved from like our teaching system of then to Common Core. And I don't know how I'm supposed to explain to a child who's like in first grade. Like, the question was, you know why 1 + 1 is 2. But why is that? Why is 1 + 1 2? Unless this is too conceptual, how are we gonna actually answer this without, how am I supposed to like teach somebody a conceptual idea without giving them the answer and that they understand it? Yes, but like, why is this one orange? Right? Like, how do you explain that? But why is this apple 1 and not like some made up number? Or something that is like a made up word, you know? How do I explain that? But how do I fit that into 2 sentences? Because you know, like how like in the old like books that you would write in, like the answers that, excuse me, they give you like 2 lines, and then whatever you could not fit in those lines, you had to like write it super small at the bottom. But then, what if the kid asks like a follow-up question of like, why? Well, kids are people. But then it's like, how would they explain that themselves? I guess. Let's see. When confronted with questions that I don't have the answer to, or I just can't get the words, I usually just like need a moment. And like when I'm put on the spot, that's where my mind goes wee. And I think I've gotten better at it for sure. But I was gonna say English is not my first language, and then I was like, that's not true. That's not true. Uh, but what I'm trying to say is like I'm not the most consistent speaker. Like there are times where I will take really long pauses. No, what that's like 5 minutes of like let me think about that. Leaves to grab milk, never comes back. Why would I get milk? I get the almond milk. It's milk made with nuts. And if you have nut allergies, I'm sorry, you can't have that. And if you prefer regular milk, well, we can't have that. Lactose. I was trying to refrain from making any. Uh, you know what? I got there. You know what? I actually I built the delay work, and this is where we're at with these jokes. These not jokes, but yeah. I like how this chapter begins with like the author saying, "I was fortunate to have graduated in the year 2007," and then proceeds to say why it was fortunate, but really it wasn't because of the fact that the guy literally graduated with debt to be in more debt because like of the giant like recession that happened, and then also that their roommate didn't pay rent for 3 months apparently, and then he and his other roommate had to like make up for that, and then went into debt, but then ended up like couch surfing while also looking for a real job. But he's like, I was fortunate because I started at rock bottom. Because if you're at the very bottom, the only way is either flatlining or up. And anything you can do will probably lead up. Well, yeah. But I mean, people have like their own like rock bottoms, you know? And they're like, nothing can be worse than trying. Unless everything like builds up to where like they can't try. But the concept is just interesting because, like, even if nothing happened with what they're doing, like, the only thing they can be is in the same spot, really. Because you're at rock bottom. And then from there, you could just start building, and then building, and building. Why the tentacle being? Alright. Well, thank you, Kabu, for being around. You should rest, because it's probably late for your time. I like how I look at like my microwave clock when I could just like literally just move the mouse down and then I can look at the time. Okay, so it's very much like Pain is part of the process, it says. Kind of like things happen in life and we choose like what to feel. Okay. We choose what to feel and how we react to it. We can avoid it all and go back to feeling better. But the solution is to just try. Like, we don't have to know everything. We just need to face the unknown. Because everything in life is a learning experience. You mess up, you get roughed up. Maybe you don't mess up and you end up knowing everything. But it's like, there's only so far you can go by not going at all. And I like how like it references to like a past part of the book. We don't know anything, even when we think we know it. There may not be a perfect answer always. But all we can do is try to face what's in front of us. I like how I was writing in my therapy journal today of like, I'm really struggling with motivation and like having something consistent to help me kind of like have me do things. And like, I feel like I lack that a lot of the time. But, and like, I need some kind of push, right? But the book kind of mentions like, that's just not how it works. Because it's a constant loop of inspiration, motivation, action. Inspiration, motivation, action. And like, I must read more to find out. Like, I have so much hesitation about doing things because I think I'm too tired today. I can do it tomorrow. Or like, wow, there's nothing in my mind to create at the moment. And that, like, it isn't inspiration, motivation, action, but it's better to think about it in a different order. The action to start will lead to inspiration, which leads to motivation. And with motivation, that leads to another action. It's very much like, how do you process and what do you see? How we look at the world changes how we do things, what we see, what we value, what we do. And maybe one day when I'm able to think, at least view it a bit better like this, maybe that is tomorrow when I start it. Maybe that's today. But this will help me. Because that's kind of like what I've been doing, is that, sure, there are some days where I just can't make it. Or like, I need to take care of myself. Like, I've wanted this stream to be very consistent of a weekly thing. Sometimes that's not possible. But if I allow myself to say, it doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if I'm not feeling up for it. And that I continue to try, the worst I could do is not get anywhere. But at least I can. But the more I try, the better I'll get at it. That's it. Alright, that was chapter 7. In short, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And, like, that's something that I am still struggling with. You know, there are days where it's hard to move forward, but we can also lessen the amount of days that we choose not to do anything. I will always say this: if you ever need a day just to pause life and slow down time, do it. But I will always say, continue trying. Because I don't know if anybody's still here, or if you see this later, I've had days where I've given up. I didn't want to go forward. And once you start going somewhere, once you choose to start, things get better. That is just how it will be, because nothing changes unless you choose to make the change. Isn't that silly? But other than that, I think I've done the reading for today. And, well, I enjoyed existing with Kavu, with Puma, and with anybody else who decides to come by, or if you see this later. This will be on YouTube, and I would like to say to anybody viewing this on YouTube, thank you for watching and existing with me. I appreciate it. And if anybody would like, please feel free to check out my Twitch. Or if you're already on Twitch, please feel free to follow. Trying to get to affiliate, and that's all I can do is try. One way forward. Anyways, that's a lovely night of relaxing and a bit of self-care with me, DjDoubleT, out for the night, and deuces. I'll see you around.